Malcolm Smith has been riding motorcycles for over 40 years. His motorcycle adventures around the world are legendary. In 1996, Malcolm offered to lead a group of riders on one of his favorite adventures, 6 days exploring the countryside and riding the varied terrain of Baja, meeting the warm and wonderful people who live there. Malcolm Smith's 6 Days of Baja is an incredible adventure. It runs the entire length of the Baja Peninsula, taking riders along the beaches, through the Boojum and pine forests, across the spectacular Baja Sierra Mountain range several times, across dry lake beds, and traversing of the desert to the tip of Baja more than 1,300 miles. The ride is challenging, but not difficult, generally following two-track dirt roads often used on the long Baja 1000 course. Malcolm deviates from the race to times and macho loops for those who just never get enough. Moderate springtime temperatures, friendly people, great food and camaraderie, opportunities for exploring and discovery, the desert in full bloom, and great beaches all help riders experience Baja at its best.
I've been riding with Malcolm for 44 years.
All right.
And, I think this Baja ride is the best.
This tape shows highlights of the 3rd annual 6 Days of Baja. As usual, Malcolm takes care of every little detail. Most riders coming from distant places flew into San Diego, where they were greeted by someone from Malcolm's team who transported them across the border and onto Rancho Santa Veronica. Once at the rancho, riders can relax and take care of any last-minute preparations. Among other goodies, riders also receive a letter from the Secretary of Tourism for Baja expressing the highest level of welcome to the 6 Days riders. This letter is affectionately referred to as a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's just another example of Malcolm's level of detail. The week kicked off with a welcome dinner where Malcolm went over the itinerary for the week and shared what the riders could expect in the upcoming days. The 3rd annual 6 Days of Baja will always be remembered by most as the El Nino year.
I don't know why I came down to Alaska. I could have stayed in Alaska for this kind of weather.
Didn't have to fly all this way for this, huh?
I don't even have to spend an expensive air ticket to come down here.
I hired the water truck to arrive. They complained about dust last year, so we had it watered this year.
Well, now I'm convinced you're God. Last year you had the military army serving you, and now you got Mother Nature.
Well, we just lucked out, that's the only thing. I just hope it doesn't get too cold up by Mike's up at high elevation.
Yeah, but there'll be dust-free conditions today, huh?
Yeah, and I just hope they're not stuck in a bunch of the mud bogs, because there's some of them out there.
Mother Nature dumped an unusually large amount of water on northern Baja and kicked in some additional rain for the opening day of this year's ride. The rain was welcomed by most as it allowed riders to see Baja in a way they may never see it again. At least it was welcomed early in the day.
Yeah, this shows conditions we won't see too often.
The water crossings started innocent enough, but they kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
get my feet wet.
Malcolm and others were trying to stay dry, but it would prove to be a futile effort.
Okay, it looks like it's about that deep. As soon as you get into it, it sinks about yay deep. And I was paddling. Up the boots upside down. What a ride. Woo!
So you're wet, huh? Head to toe?
Yeah, my underwear and everything up to there. Yeah, that's great.
Great way to start a good week, huh?
Gotta get going. I decided to be a trailblazer.
We saw nothing but helmet for a while.
So tell me where not to go?
Right there.
How deep is it?
Well, when I fell over, it was about here.
I came around the corner and saw nothing but helmets. That's all there was helmet for.
And you thought, God, I hope that's not my boy, huh?
Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't my son, but unfortunately it was. Well, we'll get it running.
Why didn't you warn me about the river?
There's so many people up here, I decided to go down there and cross, and there's a square edge on the other side of the river that I hit and stalled the bike and then got washed off. Got mine started, went up the hill, and then watched somebody else take the same line and drown out.
And
I
then,
don't mention any names.
huh? Oh, an MS one, huh?
I didn't mention any names.
I thought I'd be tricky, huh?
Uh-huh.
Mike about drowned me. It was on top of me floating down the river. That was a stupid thing to do.
Well, everybody here enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm a little cold.
I bet.
If the water crossing wasn't enough, the road that once went through this area was gone. Completely gone. So for bystanders, the day got more interesting as cold and soggy riders attempted to find various ways up a sand dune and around the washed out road. Still, it would get worse.
The road is gone.
This is what the next water crossing looked like the year before, just as it has most years. But this year was another story.
Day one was wet and cold.
It was an interesting day. Great way to start the trip. Like the best part was seeing 4 guys coming back across the raging stream, linked arm in arm, struggling to get back across. The shot of the day. We forded, I don't know, we lost kind of 6 or 8 bikes across there, probably a dozen or so all told. It was quite an adventure. It was a good day. It was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, seeing that old mill at the end of the day was a relief.
When we were down here about a month ago, this was about a 6-inch trickle. And it's raining up in the mountains, in the pine forest, and this is what happened. The first guys that came through, there wasn't much water. And we're actually lucky it's only this high. It's about 2 feet deep, but you can see it's been 4 feet deep here.
All right. Malcolm, what are you doing here to your bike? What's going on here?
I just want them to remember the ride. You know, usually rides are sissy and they just ride down dirt roads and stuff and forget about them the next day.
Uh-huh.
I just want to make sure they remember it.
Oh, I think they will.
Nice job, guys.
Cold, wet, tired, and hours late, the orphanage and the promise of a hot lunch were a welcome sight.
Well, we have 22 kids that arrived the 9th of December. They have been doing very well. We have a good staff, 7 young women that are helping us care for the children. We have Pastor Ishmael and his wife, family here. They're also helping us with the care of the children. We are only operating 2 homes right now, but we hope that within the next 3 months we should have 3 more homes ready to be able to receive more children. Thanks to the help of so many people that have been putting on little grains of sand on this project.
Following lunch, most riders took the direct route to the hotel. Still cold, wet, tired, and hours late, Malcolm offered to take any hardcore riders on a longer route up over Mike's Sky Ranch. There were only a few who took up the offer. For those that did, the rain let up and the rest of the ride was first rate. Mark Johnson was definitely enjoying his new YZ400. A ride along the coastal mountains, then along the beach, then off to the old mill for the night. By day 2, the rain had stopped and the weather was perfect. A short ride down the beach and then onto the pavement south to El Rosario for gas and those famous lobster burritos at Mama Espinosa.
Get closer to it, Malcolm.
Okay. If somebody wanted to have they should take it.
Yeah, let me get over here.
In Baja, locals, young and old, always seem to welcome visitors. By this time, the group had traveled far enough south to begin seeing traditional Baja dust. Even still, the effects of the heavy rainfall had left the beautiful desert more lush and green than normal. In every direction, the desert was in full bloom. This was definitely Baja at its best. Father and son, Jack and Darton Zink, survived the challenging trails only to get tangled up with a semi-truck once on the pavement. Thankfully, there was no major damage.
We've seen the rocks and the sand, and managed to get through those okay, but the semi was a different story.
Tell us what happened.
And we were going to pass a slow-moving semi, and went around the outside. I think he veered out to miss some potholes back here, and didn't leave us much room. So we got together and went down trying to avoid getting hit by the semi.
Oh.
A lot of excitement. Everything worked.
Thank goodness for armor, huh?
A little patching up, resetting the GPS, and they were down the road. It takes a special kind of resolve to ride in Baja. After a bit of riding down the blacktop, riders found lunch waiting. It was a welcome bit of support a long way from any other options.
Oh, yeah. We charge. Boy, it's better than next year, right?
After lunch, the route headed further south through more of the spectacular desert of the Baja Sierra mountain range. For those that were up to it, Malcolm had an alternative course that allowed for a little more challenge before heading into the beautiful Los Angeles Bay for the night. An early start on day 3 allowed for a view of a beautiful morning and a perfectly calm sea. For most, it was a quick trip down what is nicknamed Interstate 5 to the next stop.
Are we having fun yet?
If we could have had the water truck out, then it would have been perfect.
For those wanting more adventure, Malcolm had a different but parallel path that offered the normal staple of sand and rocks, but also a trip to a small out-of-the-way rancho. It just makes you wonder, how in the world does he find these places?
Larry, I got a house up here I want to show you.
Okay.
View lot, overlooking the riverbanks, and 3-bedroom, ventilated bathroom, and we'll throw in the old cars too.
All right. I'll bring my checkbook.
Okay, it's just up here in the canyon about another mile. Wherever there was a little spring, they made a rancho. So there was a little spring up here, so they had a rancho.
Mark, wait. Woo!
Then it was down another special MS route to the spectacular San Francisco Bay for gas and an unbelievable lobster lunch.
Jim, what happened here?
Don't talk to me, Larry. Oh, I got roosted.
Oh.
Blew a hole about the size of $50 in the case.
After a few last-minute repairs, it was off to El Arco. Baja is a kind of place where you always have to be on the alert. A case in point was when this rider missed a turn, found himself off the road, and eventually using a huge rock for a brake. Not a good idea. He was good-humored about it, but would have to spend the rest of the day in a chase truck. This crash seemed to set the tone for the rest of the day, as later, an unusually high number of riders departed company from their motorcycles.
Really, I had a tank slapper that was end-all tank slapper. I unloaded the rear wheel and I saw my rear wheel as I was going down this hill, and I thought, that's it. I'm done.
Tell me what happened out there today.
I was going faster than I ever went in my whole entire life, and I fell off.
Ouch.
The rocks were about... How big was that rock? Oh, it was this big? When I hit it, there was about 7 of them. I was making little rocks out of big rocks. But no damage done. Little scratch here, little scratch there. We're ready to go.
Once in San Ignacio, Renee's is always a great place to wind down after a long, hard ride. Great food, great drink, great company makes for a great time. On such occasions, you can usually find Dave Muggenast at his best.
Joel and I just had the chicken.
On day 4, most riders opted for the traditional route out to the Pacific coast and along the beach, before heading back inland and across the peninsula into Loreto. However, there were a few riders opting to follow Malcolm on one of those famous MS Special Adventure routes. Each year, Malcolm has a unique and difficult adventure loop open only to a select few. This year's Team Pioneer would definitely have its work cut out for them.
I recognize that laugh, Malcolm. What are you doing to us?
Oh, you're going to be riding right up the middle of this kind of stuff.
The ride started with a quick visit to a small, out-of-the-way rancho. It would be the last sign of civilization for many hours.
You know me, I just follow every road until it ends.
Okay, enough play already. It's time to ride. The fun began immediately as riders struggled to get up the first rocky climb out of a wash. Video doesn't begin to do justice to the steepness of this hill or the size of the boulders. This was a difficult technical climb and was only the beginning. Let the mayhem begin. rocky creek beds are challenging enough. When you throw in a lot of moss, you get the beginning of a circus. The mayhem continues. You know Malcolm's special adventure loops are a true torture test when you can take very good riders and one by one begin to make them look like squids.
Get a little tired of it.
It's just started.
Getting a little energy.
From time to time there were signs of a road. The rest of the time you simply headed in a certain direction. And by this time, even the dry rocks were becoming a chore as riders were getting too tired simply to hold on.
I feel like I'm starring in my worst nightmare today.
After hours of abuse or fun, depending on how you looked at it, the riders came upon a small remote rancho. It brought relief to more than one rider to see people who were at least surviving in what seemed to be an endless canyon. No water to be had, the group pressed on after a short visit. And yes, there were more rocks to enjoy. It's pretty clear this was not your typical everyday trail ride. Just when you thought you had enough, it kept getting better and better and better, depending, of course, on your point of view.
Well, we came from El Patrocinio. It's called the Rock Road. And I don't know why. There's rocks, but there's not a road. And San Juan de los Pilas.
And now where are we headed?
Well, I think we might, there's a sign up here, we might find a Pepsi somewhere.
Yeah!
Oh, now that's where
Fria?
Gotcha, Mark. This group of tired riders was more than happy to have a very late lunch in the Oasis town of Mulahey. Once in Loretto, riders from the two separate routes came back together for a pizza party on the beach at a house belonging to one of the 6 days riders.
Long and fast. You get on the road, get on a straight road, you'd be going about 6 gears, 65 miles an hour, and you're going, bang! You know? You think, oh God, I didn't see that. You sort of, bang! There's another one.
Easiest ride yet, air-conditioned truck. All the way.
Whoa, how'd you do that?
You just got to know the right guys. Heck with this motorcycle stuff, rocks, sand, too hard. Too much work.
It was another early morning start as riders headed back over the Baja Sierra mountain range, traveling from the Sea of Cortez over to the Pacific Ocean and back again to the town of La Paz.
Gotcha.
This guy, look at a wheelie on this side. They want a wheelie. Yeah, you can't wheelie, right?
Another great lunch in Ciudad Constitucion, and then it was off to the beach for miles and miles of fun. Just when you think you're out in the middle of nowhere, Malcolm has a chase truck waiting for you. A little fuel and a snack, then it's down the pavement into the town of La Paz for some well-deserved relaxation.
There, very animate with the cactuses and everything. Came in very, very close contact.
You couldn't find better friends?
No, and this guy was not friendly at all.
I am great. How are you?
Ready to wheelie.
All right.
The last day of the ride always brings mixed feelings.
Oh, it's a nice day. We're headed south on the last run.
It's time for a safe day. Get off those roads.
Yeah. It's probably safer on the motorcycles, huh?
Well, I'm a better motorcycle rider than I am a truck driver.
Oh.
Hey, we're headed to the barn today. Last day, we're bringing on home.
All right. Bringing the cows in, huh?
Good trip, though. I'll be here next year.
Had the best time of my life down here. It's been the greatest ride.
All right. And it's not over yet.
No, and I'm looking forward to it. And I wish it wasn't, actually. No, this has been great.
I love the ride. I love the fire roads. I love the just the terrain, the variedness of it. It's surprising. It's like Idaho. It's like various parts of California. I love the beach riding, the salt flats, just out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm impressed every day on whatever terrain we're in. It just seems to go endless. It just goes on and on and on and on. And it's, you reach the end of the day, it's 225, 250 miles, and you just had just a spectacular day. It's tested us. It's hard to use all the adjectives to describe how much fun this is. And to finish off the day with incredible eating, lobster almost every single meal, incredible views at lunch, great company. It's just been a lot of fun. I can't imagine not wanting to do this every year.
All right. Great.
The last day includes a ride down some of the most spectacular beaches in Baja. But this year, Malcolm had an optional route that headed inland, up into the mountains to explore a part of Baja rarely seen. It just makes you ask again, how does Malcolm find all these places?
son esos pájaros?
Wind blows.
¿Cómo se llaman?
Wiri.
¿Wiris?
Wiri.
Cantan bonito.
Malcolm just couldn't resist the opportunity to seek out new trails and routes through the area. He couldn't find a shortcut over to the beach, but did find a route up the mountains to a partially completed house that apparently belonged to a corrupt politician who is now in jail. The abandoned driveway up to the house proved to be a challenge.
Whoops. Boy, Montezuma's revenge hits pretty bad, doesn't it? This is the view from the bathroom.
Makes it all come out of those.
I am.
Okay, I don't want to eat that much. Let's you start quick and simple.
We just order a bunch of tacos without the rice and beans. Everybody want rice and beans? Whatever.
In Cabo, we stayed at the luxurious Las Misiones del Cabo Hotel. After arriving, we quickly loaded our bikes into a semi-tractor trailer that hauled the bikes back to the border. We cleaned up and headed over to the Giorgio restaurant for a closing awards banquet. The outdoor beachside restaurant provided a fitting and beautiful setting to top off a wonderful, week-long, 1,300-mile-plus adventure. In the words of everyone, thanks, Malcolm.
Yeah.